All right, YouTube, what is going on? It is Zaya here from Zaya&TheSteelers back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the ashes and the rubble left from our loss against the Colts in Week 4. So if you guys are Steelers fans or you enjoy NFL content in general, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Shout out to the people that have subscribed already. And shout out to the future subscribers, man. Also, let's get a shout out to the members. If you guys would like to support me and this channel more, be sure to hit that join button down in the description below. And I get it. This is pretty nasty. This is going to be probably the nastiest start to a video I think I've ever had in my life. But we were on Broderick Jones's Twitter, and if you guys don't know, because I'm a bit late to this party because this is a full day later. We're in October, by the way. Shout out to October. But this is like a whole day later. So after the game yesterday, Broderick Jones took to Twitter. And he started replying to us Steelers fans. Put it out there. I have mentioned this over and over and over again about how loud we can be sometimes, how passionate we can be sometimes, how very at the player friendly we can be sometimes. And hey, this guy fucking sucks, as this first tweet says. We're very like that. And I've talked about it with players like Deontay Johnson. I've talked about it with players like Juju. I've talked about it with players like Devin Bush. I've talked about it with players, just ex-player here. Like, we've probably trashed them if they're gone. We have a tendency to do this. And on one hand, it's like, okay, we're allowed to criticize the play that happens, right? For sure, we're allowed to criticize it. But at the same time, too, we have to remember that these athletes are people as well. And especially a player like Broderick Jones, who is younger, who might even be younger than me, honestly, which is crazy because I am not in the NFL. But you got to remember that these guys, they be on Twitter, man. They be on social media. They see all this shit. And when it happens a lot, when it happens enough, eventually they are going to say something. When the slander is that high, eventually they are going to say something. And Broderick Jones, we talk about eventually he's going to say something. Broderick Jones eventually said something, and he eventually said a lot. And so I don't know if I'm going to go through all of his tweets right here, but we're on his page, and this is very accessible. You just go to his replies. We started off, Broderick Jones fucking sucks. Where does he get it from? He gets it from you. Let me get a gunshot for that. I'm not even right. He gets it from you, Mr. Riley. What's next? Broderick Jones is looking more like a bust each and every snap. LOL, you don't know shit about football, I'm convinced. Next up, come take my spot. Let me see what you got, my boy. And this O-line, especially Broderick Jones, just absolutely sucks. Come show me how to do it. Laughing emoji. With all due respect, stop taking penalties. I had 0 penalties, boss. Check the stats. Okay, this right here, I defend Broderick Jones on this because they definitely did say he had a penalty in the game. But I believe it was like Spencer Anderson who actually did it, but they just said 77 Broderick Jones. So yes, Broderick Jones actually didn't have a penalty yesterday. So I respect this out of Broderick. He's like, I literally didn't have a penalty, man. But that was the announcer's fault. This one though is the best one, I think. We thought Dan Moore was bad. Jones said, hold my beer. And then Broderick said, you got one right now, huh? This one has me dead because we definitely this is right after the game. Like I said, I'm a little late to the party here. But yeah, this guy Kevin, he definitely had a beer, man. And I don't know how much I'm gonna go through this. Bro, you can't be serious right now. Go watch some film and work the fuck. Wait, go watch some film and work. The fuck you doing on socials? You doing the same thing as me though. One of us isn't a Pittsburgh Steel. You know what I'm saying? One of us isn't actually out there playing. Broderick Jones, when it rains, it pours, man. I understand Broderick Jones hasn't been the best, and I'm not defending him. I don't know if I'm maybe I am defending Broderick Jones, replying to these people because, like I said, when the noise is that much, when the tweets are that much, eventually, you want to stick up for yourself. You want to say something about yourself, especially when it's with all due respect, stop taking penalties. He's like, I had 0 penalties, man. Just because the announcer said it was him, now he's taking the flack for it. So I understand that. But then on the other hand, too, I understand, when you're an NFL player, when you're an NFL athlete, these things are going to happen. And you're supposed to be above it. You're supposed to be above replying to these people on Twitter. But this happens all the time with Pittsburgh fans, and I've mentioned it numerous times. This is low-key a reason why I make this channel, because we have people like Mark Madden in the media. We have people like such and such in the media. I'm not going on a spree here, but Mark Madden, I'll stand on that. Mark Madden is horrible, but you know what I'm saying? Our national media, and this is all just fans, you know what I'm saying too? But our national media is the people who set it up, and then our fans are very loud about it. Our fans are very like you suck about it, you know what I'm saying? And so this happens all the time. I get it. But I will say, this has happened all the time. And once the players start replying, man, all of a sudden that player is gone. For whatever reason, maybe they want to leave in free agency. Maybe we trade him. I don't know. I'm still in on Broderick. I still believe he has a ton of potential. I still believe he is a great player. We just have to let him cook. But we gotta get off of him, one. But then two, he has to turn off Twitter for sure. He definitely has to turn off Twitter at this time because he like I said, he kind of went on a spree here. I actually did go through all of them. And this guy said, get Minkaberg. Shout out to Minkaberg. I've been using his tweets a lot, but he said, get Broderick Jones off my team. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just very tough. And so on one hand, I get it. On the other hand, I want him to be above it. But he can only take so much, you know what I'm saying? He can only allow so much pressure before eventually the quarterback gets sacked. And that, that was a joke, Broderick. I'm sorry, but I'm sure you've taken it enough. I'm sure you can understand that when I got you. But of course, I believe Broderick is not a bust. I believe he's going to be, one of our better offensive linemen. But we were just assed out in this offensive line position because if we go through the next one, not this, I'm sorry. We're going to talk about Najee Harris in a second, though. But if we go through this next tweet, recap of the Steelers' offensive line injuries. Nate Herbig, torn rotator cuff, out for the year. Troy Fatanu, dislocated kneecap, out for regular season. Isaac Samalu, strained pec, missed the first month. Dylan Cook, foot injury, IR, missed the first month. James Daniels, torn Achilles, out for the year. If we're counting, and if we don't count Zach Frazier, who's probably better than Nate Herbig, if we don't count him, Nate was supposed to be a starter. Troy was supposed to be a starter. Samalu was a starter. He is a starter. And then James Daniels is also a starter. We are down now 3 starting offensive linemen and hoping Samalu comes back and can play. We are down pretty badly in the offensive line department. The injuries have not been kind to us. And so Broderick Jones and Dan Moore, the people that we love to hate, the people that are our tackles, you know what I'm saying? They're the last regime left in this starting offensive line, man, because we are just dropping like flies in that department. And it is very unfortunate because we were supposed to be this run-dominant team. We were supposed to be this run-heavy team. We look to other injuries like players like Cordero Patterson is now hurt. Jalen Warren has been dealing with injuries. So our running backs and offensive line are depleted. And who was left out there? Who was left standing with all of them? Ladies and gentlemen, it is Najee Harris. And from this tweet right here, are we ready to have a serious conversation about Najee Harris? And this guy says he's very inconsistent. I've been off and on about him since we drafted him. The fact that Cordero Patterson did more in one drive than Najee did the whole game is very telling. And this guy says exactly, and Cordero is aging and far from prime football shape. Let me get a gunshot for that. Now, as a known Najee Harris hater, as a known Najee Harris slanderer or whatever, I've been, you know what I'm saying? I've seen the Jalen Warren runs after Najee Harris too. I've seen the Cordero runs after Najee Harris as well. To give him some slack, to give him some credit, the offensive line is hurt. However, Cordero is running with the same offensive line, and Jalen Warren was running with the same offensive line in the same, you know what I'm saying, system. These guys have been doing it. And for the most part, I don't want to say for the most part, because Najee Harris, he's like a bell cow, and he's getting a lot of carries. If we gave these other guys this many carries, who knows how they look. But for the most part, Najee Harris has kind of been outshined by these people. And you know what I'm saying? The way that we run the ball sometimes really pisses me off. The way that we run from the shotgun, we run these zone reads with Najee Harris as opposed to letting him just go up the middle. I talked about it in week 1 for this season, but we've been doing this shit for fucking 3 years now, for his whole career. We run the ball weird with Najee, and at the same time too, we have to be honest, because we've seen Jalen, we've seen Cordero, we've seen other running backs come in and kind of thrive in the way we run the ball. Maybe it's just one of those situations where it's not him, it's me. You know what I'm saying? It's not Najee Harris, it's the Steelers. Maybe we're just not the best match. I've said numerous times that I love Najee Harris and I love him in the locker room and I wish we could keep him forever, right? But when he is the lone running back and we're having a game like we had yesterday and he's getting pretty much no yards per carry, and then Cordero Patterson comes in and is literally lighting it up, literally a night and day difference. It sucks. It's very tough to get on here and then just be yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I love Najee Harris and he's the answer. It is very tough when that happens to justify picking up that 5th-year option, It's just like I said, it's one of those situations. I'm not ready to be fully out on Najee Harris yet, although, I've said what I've said in the past. If you guys have been subscribing for long, you know how I feel about Najee Harris. I like him on the team. I like him as a leader. But as far as him being the solo bell cow guy, I just don't think that that's where we're at in life right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate. It really is, because we drafted him to be that guy, and we all thought he was going to be that guy. And he has been able to have some success. He has never not had 1,000 yards. Najee Harris has never not had a 1,000-yard season, man. Just like Mike Tomlin has never not had a winning season. You know what I'm saying? He's been able to have success in some areas. But when you give the ball to him 30 times, it's 22 of them are just head scratchers, man. And a lot of it can be put on the play calling for sure. A lot of it can be put on the offensive system. A lot of it can be put on the injuries. A lot of it can be put somewhere. But eventually you got to start putting something on Najee Harris. You can put it all on the shelf, but eventually the shelf is going to get full. And what are we doing? We're putting the water bottles on the fridge now. You know what I'm saying? We're putting that shit all the way on top. Eventually, you're going to run out of space and you got to start putting some stuff on Najee. So it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think about Najee Harris down below. because I know this is like a pretty big topic at the moment too. Just checking my comments from my last video, I know a lot of people were talking about Naj because I kind of glanced on the topic a little bit. But yeah, I'm confused as well. Maybe we do need to have a serious conversation about Najee Harris. Maybe we're overreacting because it was one loss, and maybe next week he comes out and does it. But we just got to see, man. I love Najee Harris, as I mentioned. I keep half stepping it, but it is what it is. Just in case Najee Harris ends up being that guy we think he's gonna be. I don't want to have too much slander out there for him, but Cordero Patterson was eating yesterday, man. Jalen Warren be eating all the time too. So it is what it is. Next up. We got a Blitzburg tweet. Ben Roethlisberger calls out the center quarterback issues. You know what can't happen anymore? We can't have a center quarterback exchange issues. We can't have guys stepping on his feet, him bobbling the ball. I feel like they're afraid to go under center because they don't trust the center quarterback exchange. We went for it on 4th down. We're in the gun. How many times we have done this so many times, brother. Big Ben, I am begging you to come on Zay and the Steelers, because like when the more Ben talks about the Steelers, the more he talks about football. Like I get he has his own personal agendas he be trying to get off. He was doing that his first year, especially when we're struggling. When we're struggling, man, Big Ben is just fucking. When we're struggling, man, Big Ben is like just he's just always playing for points from himself when we're struggling. But I think that was like year one. He was still salty about having to retire, but now he seems to be given better takes about the team, and I like what he has to say. Of course, this guy is their quarterback forever. He's an NFL legend, so his takes on football are probably the truth. And we all agree with this. Like, how many times did this happen? Even the Kenny Pickett injury, if you guys remember, his last game, the last snap he played, what did we do? We were on 4th and 1. I think it was 4th and 1 from the 1, and it was a direct shotgun snap to Kenny Pickett and in the zone, and like it just didn't work. And we need to be under center more. But as Ben said, maybe we're afraid to go under center because of the exchange issues. Maybe we just don't have it anymore. Maybe like it's just too much. I am not exactly sure, man. But we definitely need to go under center more, and I think Ben is spitting, because that is something that it completely annoys me. It completely annoys all of you guys out there as well. Every time we're in a short yard situation, like we have Justin Fields, a running quarterback, why not try to sneak it? Why not try to do anything else besides snapping the ball from the shotgun, Because we're already starting back. Like, that is the problem. We're starting like 5 yards back, and we really just need 1 yard. It just makes no sense. It's a head scratcher every time. And I thought we were past this, man. I really did think we were past this when we got rid of Matt Canada. But it is what it is. Apparently, we haven't yet. Hopefully, Mike Tomlin listens. Hopefully, these people listen and they make the necessary adjustments. But it is what it is. I'm really sad we lost the game yesterday, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm really sad. I want to revisit this. With 8 minutes left in the first quarter, the Steelers faced a 3rd and 23 at the Colts' 49-yard line. Fields checks down to Freiermuth for 8 yards. Smart play, setting up the field goal, right? Instead, Tomlin punts, bypassing Boz for 58 yards. Pittsburgh lost by 3. Now, I know we have seen Chris Boswell go out there on some long kicks and like miss it. You know what I'm saying? I know that has happened before. It's happened this season, but for the most part, Boz is pretty good. And I am tired. And like, you guys see the jersey. I've been a Boswell defender forever. I've been a Boswell fan forever. Like, before you guys even knew who Chris Boswell was, low key, I've been his fan. I hate this. I wish we would let Boswell kick it from 65 yards, because maybe, just maybe, it goes in. And from 58 in a dome, we should have let him kick it. Now, at the time, I don't remember like being like, yo, we have to kick it. I don't remember this. So maybe this didn't even happen. Maybe Mike Nicastro is like lying or whatever, but he's probably not. Maybe this happened. And we definitely should have kicked it. We need to give Boswell more chances. It is what it is. Our defense, I know yesterday they didn't have the best day, but our defense can afford, to Boswell miss a kick and like they have decent field position. You know what I'm saying? I think our defense can afford it, and we need to let Boswell kick the ball more from farther out. We need to stop being scared. We need to, and for 8 yards, it was 4th and 20. Okay, it would have been 4th and a lot, so we couldn't even have gone for it, but you know what I'm saying? We need to let Boswell kick these field goals, man. From 58 yards, like, this is 2024. These kickers are absolutely bombing the football. It is only us who like won't kick it from this far, And so, yeah, we need to let Boswell kick the ball more. We need to let him do his thing. And we lost by 3 points, so maybe, just maybe, this would have been a tie, man. It is what it is. Next up, Joe Flacco, when a third-tier NFL team needs a midseason win, man. This is absolutely unbelievable, bro. Joe Flacco, man, go away, my guy. Like, how is Joe Flacco the last one of the regime left, man? How is it Joe Flacco and Andy Dalton out here? And Joe Flacco's been playing for longer than Dalton. I believe Joe Flacco's been in the league since 2007. Like, this guy just won't go away. And I remember before he started turning up on the Browns, I seen that he was on the Browns, and I was like, bruh. It might have been when he was on the Jets. This is a while ago, but it's like, man, just go away. Like, you're ruining your legacy. This dude has done nothing but polish his legacy. And we're talking about a man with a Super Bowl championship. These past couple of seasons for Joe Flacco, like you would think it ruins his stats or whatever. You think it goes down a la like a Vince Carter. I know it's crazy. Joe Flacco, Vince Carter, but you guys got to let me cook. Vince Carter, if he would have just walked away after year 10, year 15, his averages would look crazy, right? But he decided to keep playing and it just brought everything down. You know what I'm saying? Joe Flacco, it's like he's playing better. You know what I mean? It's like this guy is getting better with age. And so it's really weird. And of course, we had to fall victim to it. But although I've seen the Pittsburgh Steelers with my own eyes beat Joe Flacco with, on his original team, the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm not too salty about losing to Joe Flacco, but I'm a little salty about losing to Joe Flacco just because of the strength. And lastly, this might be what do I want to say? This might be bad to say. This might be a sin to say. But Joe Flacco, man, he's played for the Ravens. He's played for the Browns. I don't know if he's played for the Bengals. But if we need a third-string quarterback, man, you might as well complete that AFC North run and come play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At this point, why not Joe Flacco? Why can't Joe Flacco be our third string, but Kyle Allen can? I'm just saying, I am just saying, why can Kyle Allen be our third-string quarterback with Joe Flacco? So maybe, just maybe, if he's a free agent, maybe if we need a quarterback, you know what I'm saying, we give him a nice little deal because clearly this guy can still play. Clearly there is much left in the tank for Joe Flacco. But other than that, I don't really have much to say. I'm still pretty salty about losing to the guy. Lastly, this just happened. Mason Rudolph is now 4-0 in his last 4 NFL regular season games, and his teams are averaging 28 points per game. He's an NFL starting quarterback. Now, I don't know about that. I will be honest. I don't know about Mason Rudolph starting quarterback. Maybe it's because I'm still just hung up on he replaced Kenny. Maybe it's still because I'm just upset at the fact that things didn't work out with him or Kenny. Because at the time, nobody will believe me, especially with all the things I've said about Mason Rudolph. But I wanted to draft Mason Rudolph. I thought it made sense at the time. The film looked good. And the deep ball has always been good for Mason Rudolph. Now, I don't know exactly how he played. I just know that he played and won. But I'm sure he played solid. Like, he just needed a change of scenery. And I wanted to trade the guy so bad because I figured we could get some assets for him because all he needed was a fresh start. Now in Tennessee, Will Levis has had some of the funniest tape to ever hit the streets. Funnier than the Kenny Pickett tapes, So I think Mason Rudolph, if he is now the starter in Tennessee, I think he can get a nice little runoff. Maybe he does well in Tennessee. Maybe that's his home. Who knows? But as far as like bona fide starter, I'm not exactly there yet, but the guy definitely has talent and he is deserving to be on a roster, and that's all that mattered. And now that he's in a new situation, maybe, just maybe, it'll work out for the Tennessee Titans. You know why? Because the Tennessee Titans, they're mid, man. They suck. And so Mason Rudolph being their starter, like it makes sense, like for the Titans, like I'd expect that out of the Titans. And so all credit to Mason Rudolph. Good luck in Tennessee. He got to win tonight. And maybe we're dumb for not keeping Mason Rudolph. But other than that, I think that is going to do it. Last point I want to make is Justin Fields absolutely ate yesterday. I hope you guys don't think Justin Fields didn't eat. I hope you guys aren't out on Justin Fields because I thought he played pretty well. There were some mistakes in, it's not all on him. We tried to give Kenny Pickett all the bail in the world. We tried to give all these quarterbacks all the bail in the world when we're talking about the offense. So Justin Fields, I believe there's a little bit of bail for the slow start and the play calling and whatnot. But other than that, when we were down, when we needed some points to be had, Justin Fields wasn't afraid. He went out and got the points. So nobody be down on Justin Fields. As I said, though, I think that is going to do it for me. Shout out to all of the late night audience because this is probably going to go up on YouTube probably about maybe 12:45 if it renders quickly. So shout out to all of you guys, and then shout out to the people in the morning. If you guys enjoy Steelers content and you made it through this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. I talk about the Steelers and the NFL in general all the time, so be sure to stick around the channel. Thank you guys for 1,000 subs once more, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.